Okay. Hello, everyone. I think that we're gonna get started. So welcome to Flying Labs Power of Local webinar series. And thanks for joining us today. And feel free to reach out to us on Twitter, Facebook, and in our Google group if you have any follow-up questions and comments after our webinar today, or if you would like to share your good work with us. So my name is Oyanga. I'm project and community coordinator at WeRobotics, and I will host today's webinar. And today we will be featuring Nigeria Southwest Hub Flying Labs, Papua New Guinea Flying Labs, and Ghana Flying Labs projects and activities, and learn about how they're using new technologies and robotics to tackle social and economic challenges in their countries. And before I get started with the presentations of our main speakers, I would like to give a very quick introduction about what we do for those who are not familiar with our work. So today we are facing more and more challenges that are rising from the new technologies. But we think that the main question that we face is whether we will end up creating future with shared prosperity or increased wealth, concentration of wealth for few only. And the technology itself isn't going to create shared prosperity. We in WeRobotics believe that the people will decide through more inclusive and democratic fourth industrial revolution. So our #1 priority is the local. We believe in the power of local. This means we invest in local experts, local engineers, and local leaders who are best placed to address social challenges and to ensure that these social challenges are solved efficiently and sustainably. Because the local experts, they have the skills and the technologies to do a lot more and a lot faster. So we do this by globally co-creating flying labs, which are local knowledge hubs that are run entirely by the local experts who we train, equip, and support as needed. And we have built the core infrastructure to enable these flying labs to become self-sustaining. And today we have flying labs in more than 25 countries. And the flying labs themselves also, they train each others and they create ecosystems that connect the key actors in government, industries, and other sectors. And we have built this network of more than 25 flying labs in just 3 years, and all of this driven by the local demand. So we want to continue supporting the local experts and this demand for more inclusive and equal opportunities and local leadership. We also want to invest in hundreds of local leaders across hundreds of flying labs, engaging in thousands of projects, improving the lives of millions of people. So now let me start the presentations of our main speakers.
Hi, my name is Adewale Adegoke, the head of Nigerian Flying Labs, and I will be presenting a webinar on building sustainable smart farming ecosystems as a path to socioeconomic development in Nigeria. The Nigerian Flying Labs is a drone data innovation hub that identifies and builds local skills in digital entrepreneurship in order to facilitate youth employment. So we incubate innovative ideas around data and algorithms to be able to ensure that data is available for different applications such as agriculture, and humanitarian affairs as well. We focus more on the youth to be able to build local capacity in order to catalyze transformative economic opportunities, and create jobs for the youth, especially in the agricultural sector. And some of the work that we've done includes building local skills in drone technology, which we've done with the Federal College of Agriculture in Akure and the Federal Federal University of Technology Akure as well, and the Ondo State government. And in addition to that, our other services include using artificial intelligence, in agriculture to count tree crops, and also to provide crop health indices, in order to facilitate the optimal production of crops or yield, for farmers. And an area we'll be focusing on in the smart farming ecosystem is drones for agriculture. And with that, we understand that still different drones available for agriculture. You have the regular survey drones, you have multispectral drones, and you also have crop spraying drones. However, in this webinar, we are going to be looking at the opportunities and also the benefits of both the multispectral drones and the crop spraying drones, for smallholder farmers in Nigeria. And with the nature of crops, you have sensitivity and reflectance. These are two key areas that play a huge role in drones for agriculture, because the drones use, the multispectral drones use the sensors to be able to monitor and detect, variable reflectance values from crops, which determines the health of the crop or, the condition of the crop. And the types of drones, like I mentioned, we'll be talking about, the multispectral and the crop spraying drones. As you can see, the two drones that we are quite familiar with, the Nigeria Flying Labs, include the Para Bluegrass Professional Multispectral Drone and the Giants crop spraying drone, 16 liters. And the role of drone technology in agriculture includes crop health monitoring, vegetation indices, crop spraying, plant scouting, water needs assessment, and soil analysis. And it is understandable that quite a lot of smallholder farmers in Nigeria do not have the capacity for technology. And one of the key areas that we try to build the capacity is to let them understand why they need to ensure that the crops or the yields are produced optimally to be able to meet the standards of the market. Now, for most of the smallholder farmers, they do not have a broad overview of the conditions of the farms. But with the drone technology, we're able to provide them a visual representation of the situation on the farms, the areas or the fields that have issues and that need urgent attention, and also to be able to interpret the data as such that they have a clear understanding of why they need to apply fertilizer or pesticides in some areas and leave certain areas, and also to be able to predict, the application of pesticides or the incidence of pesticide or of pests on the farms. Now, in doing this, we applied different indices. So the most common indices for the measurement or detection of crop health is the normalized differential vegetation index, which describes the vigor level of a crop. Now you have other ones. You have the indices for monitoring soil moisture, the indices for monitoring nitrogen content of the plant or the crop, and also indices for monitoring photosynthetic activity, at different stages of crop growth, from the planting stage to the harvest stage. And With that, the multispectral drone is able to measure, the reflectance or values of the near infrared and red values, from the plant, which be able to show and is translated into numerical values on a map, using color codes to be able to depict areas that are doing well on the farm and areas that need attention on the farm. And like I said, for the smallholder farmers, adoption is a bit difficult and it's been a challenge in Nigeria. However, what we've done is to work through, farmer cooperatives, associations, to be able to embed the technology in their workflows. And one of the key takeaways for the Nigerian Flying Labs is one, establishing strategic partnerships, with other private sector players within the ecosystem. And with that, we're able to put this together, whilst implementing a smart farming advisory and technical center as a one-stop shop, for all information or advisory services regarding capacity building, localization of drone technology or smart farming, in smallholder agriculture, and also farm optimization. The whole plan of doing this is to optimize the yield for the farmers. However, there's a path to that, and we need to build capacity of the youth who are technology savvy, to be able to appreciate the relevance of drone technology and data in agriculture, in improving this. And in applying this, the smart farming or drone technology, to agriculture, we unbundle the concept of agriculture into manageable parts. Now, a farm, which is the most basic component of agricultural practice, has the land and has the crops on it. And for the land, we have the land information, you have a revenue generation, you have the crop type, all that information. Then from the crops, you have the aggregation, crop information, all of this put together basically gives a broad overview of what is going on the farm, because as the drone flies, it not only does it capture the conditions of the crop, but also, the data is able to map the boundary of the land and also provide information, other labeled information, that can be used with the drone imagery to be able to inform better decision support, strategy for the farmers in improving their yield. Sometimes it is advisable to collect this data over time. So, for instance, in order to predict yield, you need regular data collection, labeled data collection, to be able to facilitate this, in order to predict yield and also to support improvements in yields. Now, the Smart Farming Advisory and Technical Center has different components. We have the capacity building, we have GAP, good agronomic practices. We provide capacity building for drone flights, data processing, data science, and artificial intelligence. And we provide also strengthening extension services, good agronomic practices, crop health monitoring, pest monitoring, and establish a continuous feedback mechanism for farmers regarding providing support or agronomic service advisory. Data processing is also one of the services that the Smart Farming Advisory and Technical Center offers. Processing of multispectral images and interpretation of multispectral images. We are pursuing strategic partnership with institutions that provide agronomy service advisory. So we hope that in the next coming months, we will be able to, in partnership with these academic institutions or research institutions, will be able to offer agronomy service advisory and research and development also, to be able to support smallholder farmers. This is the first Smart Farming Advisory and Technical Center in Nigeria, and we're working assiduously to ensure that it meets all international standards. At the moment, we're also putting together a standard operating procedure or a toolkit for the Smart Farming Advisory and Technical Center, which can be replicated, in other areas. And for the implementation, localization of the technology is key, because localization allows provides an opportunity for the adoption, of the technology within the smallholder farming community. And in localizing the application of drones, youth are trained on mapping, drone piloting, and data interpretation. And this is to build the skill set of local youth in digital agripreneurship, while creating job opportunities for the youth as e-extension personnel. As e-extension personnel, they can provide, a boundary map of the farms. They are able to interpret drone data and also conduct drone flights to be able to monitor the health of the crop. And secondly, the Flying Labs Nigeria work closely with farmer cooperatives and associations to ensure that there's uptake of the drone technology for the farmers. Understanding that the smallholder farmers do not have the necessary disposable income to be able to possibly afford, individually the drone technology, or to even afford the service. So we tend to democratize the process whilst going through the cooperatives, so that it's a lot cheaper for the smallholder farmers to be able to adopt. A case study that we have is the cotton farmers in Kogi State, in Lokoja, Kogi State of Nigeria. And the Flying Labs Nigeria Southwest has partnered with Agro Exchange Technology Service, a private sector crop monitoring service provider, to provide crop monitoring, farmer profiling, capacity building, and drone crop spraying services to the Kogi State chapter of the National Association of Cotton Farmers, NACOTAN. The key objective of the engagement is to build capacity of the local youth, so that the application of smart farming, in improving yield, can be replicated, without much intervention from Flying Labs or Agro Exchange. And in doing that, is also expected, the data is expected to be used by the NACOTAN management, with support from Flying Labs, to be able to interpret and provide informed strategic decisions, to farmers to support them. And this is expected to form a continuous feedback, data update, and data collection mechanism, whereby data is collected constantly and data is also updated on the go. The Flying Labs has provided software such as the S3123 mobile software to map the cotton farms in real time. And as you can see from the image, these are some of the cotton farms that have been mapped so far. About 29 farms are being collected, in about past 3 days. This allows the management and also Flying Labs to constantly monitor the performance of the youth that serve as enumerators or essential workers for this project. Upon collection of this data, the boundaries will now be used in designing flight plans, for the multispectral drones, so that the data or multispectral data of farm condition can be collected and used in advising the farmers, depending on the stage of growth of the crop. And lastly, I mentioned earlier, we've implemented the S3 Survey 123 and IGS Online to implement a continuous data collection and update mechanism. And also post multispectral drone flights, we are going to be using crop spraying drones to basically apply fertilizers, liquid fertilizers, and also pesticides, in supporting the farmers. This is expected to increase or improve the yield per capita, and also provide the cotton farmers, the capacity to be able to pay back loans to the Central Bank of Nigeria under the Anchor Borrower scheme. In the short term, there's going to be data available, the central data repository available on cotton farmers. There's going to be drone imagery or satellite imagery, data available for the crop conditions for cotton in Nigeria. And in the long term, we are hoping that this model can be spread across all the other cotton producing states in Nigeria. And with that, have this data available in the public domain to attract private sector investors in cotton, and to be able to add more value to cotton in Nigeria, and create more jobs in the textile industry, in Nigeria. Thank you.
Okay, good day, everyone. This is Ghana Flying Labs presenting on our annual webinar. And my name is Prince Lawson, the coordinator for Ghana Flying Labs. Yeah, so I want to give a brief history about how Ghana Flying Labs came to be, okay? And with Ghana Flying Labs, it took just one conversation with a member of the Cameroon Flying Labs to pick Francis Owusu. Francis Owusu, you see here, is the CEO of SKT Aeroshata. And through that phone call, Ghana Flying Labs was launched in September 2019. So because Francis Owusu was the CEO of SKT Aeroshata, now SKT Aeroshata is the institute, or say the organization that houses Ghana Flying Labs. So a little brief self-introduction here. My name is Prince Lawson. I actually studied geomatic engineering in KNUST. I became the teaching assistant for a year, and then after that I got employed by SKT Aeroshata as a pilot technician. And in SKT Aeroshata, I got the opportunity to become the Ghana Flying Labs coordinator. We actually share WeRobotics' philosophy of sustainable technological innovations implemented at the local level, and the power of sharing and transferring that knowledge to others through workshop and training. What I'm basically saying is, we try to gather so much information, we try to learn so much information about technology and how it helps human beings, and we also take another step forward to actually lecture or bridge that gap to bring people up to date on how to use certain technologies to facilitate their social challenges. So that's what I'm basically saying here. So our Flying Lab's main goal dwells on facilitating research and discovering innovative techniques of using drones to develop solutions to social challenges. Okay. Now, our area of expertise in Ghana Flying Labs, we are actually composed, or should I say, we actually consist of a lot of engineers. We have aerospace engineers, we have electrical engineers, we have geomatic engineers, we have geological engineers. So we all bring our minds together, and then we actually solve the problem. But our area of expertise actually spans from photogrammetry to remote sensing to geographic information systems to robotics and research. So you can see here an example of how we are using geographic information systems to solve a particular problem. We also do photogrammetry here to collect data for that kind of analysis. And we also do robotics, assembling and assembling of most drones and coding them to work or to actually tackle a particular problem. Anyways, our main project this year, we've undertaken a number of projects this year, and this is actually our first year since commencement. But we've taken a number of projects, and the projects, they are mostly rooted in academia because we had some PhD students with project topics who actually needed support to acquire data and analysis. So we actually gave them a helping hand because of our main flying labs goal. We're also involved in COVID-19 response, which is something more under health robotics. We took part in wildlife conservation. We had to go get a count of hippos. We had to go and analyze the problems some biosphere reserves were facing and come up with solutions. We've also had projects in agric, how we can use drones to fast forward agriculture. And we've also done some research, a lot of research in flood-prone analysis, which puts us under disaster management. Okay. So, sorry, I forgot to talk about this. So amongst this project, the one with the widest impact to us is the mapping of the research facilities as part of the COVID-19 response. I made mention of COVID-19 response here, and I would like to talk a little bit more about that one. Okay, so in March 2020 this year, Ghana reported its first case of COVID-19, which put a lot of stress on our Ministry of Health and the Ghana Health Services. Okay, why? Because we had only 2 facilities at the start who could actually do the testing of COVID-19. Okay, so if anyone showed symptoms, it was difficult sending them to or delivering the test samples from, or maybe all the way from north to maybe Noguchi or KCCR, which is Kumasi Collaborative Center for Research. It was actually difficult. So Zipline here asked us to map these health facilities, map these research facilities so that they could configure their drone to maneuver this airspace and fast forward the delivery of blood samples for the COVID-19 response. And thanks to this, they were able to get enough or speed up the process of testing people for COVID-19 in Ghana. And the information went back to the Ghana Health Services, which was broadcast to us almost during every presidential update. So anytime the president meets us on our tellies Sunday evenings, he updates us on the number of people who have tested positives and the inputs that was coming from there. That kind of data was being used to run the country. So that is our that is our project with the greatest impact here in Ghana Flying Labs. Okay, aside that, we also undertook certain training. We undertook a number of training programs, but the ones worth mentioning is we opened our doors to everyone. We put it on the internet that we are ready to build capacity amongst graduates, young graduates, those who have just completed their first degree. We put it out there that they could partake in a free drone training program, and the number that came in, we had 17 who were willing to really take the course, and we had a workshop under them. We had a workshop with them, so it involved showing them the relevant know-how on how to assemble the drones and fly them, but they were mainly geared towards mapping and applying agricultural input. So if you can look in the photographs here, you see one of these young ladies who was interested in the program and joined, flying an agricultural spraying drone. Most of these guys all picked up some know-how on some know-how on assembling the drones and flying them. So it was more of a youth robotics program, because at the end of the day, we had built them for that capacity, and we also gave them an agreement as SKT that whenever we had projects that required more pilots, we engaged them to partake on that project. So this is one of the best workshops we've had in this year. Okay, so coming to the achievement of the year, the achievement worth mentioned, I mean, to us, every little thing we do is an achievement though, but everything worth mentioning, I will summarize them into this particular three. Our ability to undertake this 17 personnel graduate training program, which was very successful, and all of them know how to fly the drones now. That's a lot of capacity buildings on us. The successful counting of the Bui Hippos project. We've been struggling with this project for some time, but finally we are able to come up with some form of technique to get an accurate count of the Bui Hippos project. And we developed a technical model for flag risk analysis. This is something we've really worked a lot on, a lot of inputs coming from every field of engineering to help us analyze how best we could analyze flood risk. And that's the three achievements worth mentioning for Ghana Flying Labs this year. Okay, so what next for Ghana Flying Labs? I mean, we are moving to our next year. That's just after September. We'll be moving to our next year in Flying Labs. And what we are looking forward to is a stronger partnership with more industries, more academic industries, and more research industries. And these are the people we are normally targeting. We are open to all, but we are normally targeting people from KNUST, the Forestry Commission, Ghana Railway Development Authority, Great Cool, University of Legon, Zoom Lion, which is a waste management expert here in Ghana, and NADMO for disaster response, and Ministry of Foods and Agriculture, because we believe we have so much input to give to agriculture. Okay, we're also looking forward to expanding our workshops to share more technical know-how. I believe going forward, we'll open the doors again like we did to allow young graduates who normally come out and don't have any work doing, are not engaged in any work, and raises the unemployment rate here in Ghana. We are trying to we are looking forward to opening doors to them again so that they can come and partake and get a little know-how that might help them fend for themselves someday. So yeah, we are looking forward to organizing more workshops in the coming year in Ghana Flying Labs. Thank you very much. Please, if you have any questions, I'm all ears.
Hello everyone, my name is Kevin Solly from PNG Flying Labs. PNG is the abbreviation of Papua New Guinea. For those who don't know, PNG is located north of Australia and east of Indonesia. It's the Guinea in the Pacific. My wife Sophie and I are co-founders of Solly Consultancy, driven with a mission of local capacity building in our community. PNG Flying Labs is our flagship program where we promote youth robotics. We focus on coding and droning after-school program targeting students of ages 6 to 19 years. Sophie is our lead drone pilot, and she has expertise in transport and logistics and also heads our drone operations. I have a background in the health industry focused on laboratory system strengthening. I have worked with international development partners in research, policy, and service delivery. I'm now the lead trainer in our coding and droning program where we focus on STEM and arts with the use of block-based coding and the magic of drones. Our vision is to build the next generation of problem solvers in Papua New Guinea by providing access to STEM education for both teachers and students. They need access to technological tools and to be trained to make a meaningful difference with their skills in our society. PNG Flying Labs has been in operation for a year. We've launched in April 2019 and have co-organized 2 inaugural national drone workshops. We have worked with WeRobotics and the U.S. Centers for Disease Control and Prevention for the first workshop and demo in medical cargo drones in February 2019. The second workshop was on drone safety, where we partnered with a local university in September 2019. We're still in partnership with the university for our current and future drone programs. We acknowledge WeRobotics for 4 microgrant awards, one being the winner of the Flying Labs competition for the most active and successful outreach during a global drone competition. We are excited to embark on another year of operation going into 2021. Here are a glimpse of some of our selected students who have gone through our program. Apart from students, we also run training workshops for teachers. This was a full workshop conducted in an inaugural Festival of Learning conference for teachers in Papua New Guinea in 2019. Our workshop attracted close to 100 teachers and support staff. This was a one-day crash course for STEAM teachers at an international school in our capital city, Port Moresby, earlier this year. This was our recent engagement with Papua New Guinea curriculum developers of the National Department of Education. Because of the COVID-19 pandemic, we have created a Coding Against COVID-19 course that promotes personal hygiene, elbow coughing, hand washing with soap, social distancing, and we also teach basics of immunology and do-it-yourself masks. Our local community and parents really supported this initiative during our national lockdown in the country. So what's Coding Against COVID-19 game? The game has 4 parts: draw, build, test, and deploy. The game was created using Scratch programming languages and comprises rocket-like white blood cells, firing laser bullets to disarm and kill novel coronaviruses entering the lung cavity. The player, white blood cell, should aim to kill as many viruses while avoiding contact with them. The more viruses killed, the more points the player scores. In the case of COVID-19, we featured the lung anatomy as the battlefield and the white blood cells and viruses in the forefront of warfare. We can apply the same concept of an immune response to bacterial infection or parasitic infection in other parts of the human body. The overall learning outcomes of the training is to 1. Use digital tools and algorithms to create simple and interactive computer games. 2. Identify the human anatomy where a viral, bacterial, or parasitic infection occurs. And 3. Have fun fighting against the disease. For more information about our local capacity building programs, you can follow these links and read more. And to end my presentation, here's a promotional video of our coding and droning program. Thank you.
All right. So thank you for our speakers for their presentation. And now we are starting the question and answer session. So please, everyone, feel free to unmute yourself and address any of our main speakers. If you have any questions or comments, and also feel free to leave your comments or questions in our chat box as well. Does anyone have a question or comments? Okay, so here's a question in our chat. So does Flying Labs Global produce annual reports? So I think I can answer to that question. For now, we have a WeRobotics annual reports that's available on our webpage, and it englobes all our Flying Labs projects and also what we have done with WeRobotics. So comment from Diana, well done to all the Flying Labs. Another question from Clément. So what are the current challenges you have faced with regards image capture using drone? So that question, it's for which Flying Labs? Or is it for everyone? Ghana. Okay, great. Yeah. Prince, do you want to answer to that question?
Yeah.
Okay, great. We can hear you.
Oh, okay. I thought I was on mute. Yeah. What are the current challenges you have faced with regards to image capture using the drones? Well, we faced a number of challenges. Example, when you want to get let's say a forest floor and you have canopies. When you are doing image capturing, it's very challenging. That means you have to just look for, let's say, the background spots you have within them and interpolate to get a terrain. So that's example of the challenge we faced. There are a number of challenges. Regardless, as to every challenge, there is a solution to it. So you study the challenge and you develop a solution to it. And two, our farmers, sorry, that's all.
Great, thanks, Prince. And I think there's another question for you about the challenges you faced during the training with youth. Prince, are you there? You are muted again. We can't hear you. You should be able to unmute yourself. Yeah, okay.
Okay, it's working out. Yeah. Hello, can you hear me?
Yes.
Yes, with the training program, with our training program, there was more of an awareness and capacity building, so they know how to fly the drones and map with the drones, assemble the drones, map with the drones, and spray with the drones. We didn't really face any challenges because the number that came in, we could design the program in such a way that we can facilitate the project. So we didn't face so much challenges. We would have faced challenges if the number that came in was way too much. Yes. Any other question?
Yeah, and I think also is someone's asking if there's a follow-up course and how do you keep your participants up to date with the changing drones, etc.
Oh yes, we are in a. I made mention we are in a relationship with them, so we still communicate with them. I also made mention when there are demanding projects that demand a lot of pilots, because we've trained them and given them some level of awareness, we always bring them on board. So we are in contact with them. Our doors are always open to them. They normally come in sometimes give us a helping hand. So based on that, I should think they are abreast with the technology that comes in. Sometimes we even share our challenges with them so that they help find solutions. Any other question for me? Okay. I have another question here. What are the challenges with regards to getting administrative permission to fly the drones? Some cities require a drone pilot to be licensed before engaging in high-profile projects. Yes, it's very true. In Ghana here, the Ghana Civil Aviation Authority is the authority to go to if you need licensing to fly the drone. And it's not always, at least for one, I know your drone must be registered. If you have a drone that is beyond 7 kilograms, it must be registered. 7 kilograms because there are some drones that are more hobbying drones. But so far as your drone is registered, I think that's the first step. If you have any other intentions of using it commercially or for any specific reasons, you have to see the Ghana Civil Aviation for permission. We, SKT, we have the pilot's license and the commercial certificate to operate here. And Flying Labs is part of SKT. So Flying Labs Ghana is part of SKT. So we don't struggle that much getting these permissions.
Okay, great. Thanks, Prince, for answering to all these questions.
Thank you, Yanga.
And I think we have a few questions also for Nigeria Flying Labs. So first, someone said, I would love to know more about the smart farming and how it could mitigate poor effects on farmers and help in sustainable agriculture. Adevale, do you want to answer?
Okay. Hi, Uyanga.
Yeah.
Thanks for that. So the smart farming practice that we are implementing in Nigeria has to do with basically production of data. to be able to facilitate, optimal yield for smallholder farmers. But a major problem we face with smallholder farmers is their capacity to adopt the technology because of that disposable income. However, one of the things that, one of the key approaches that we've taken at the moment is democratization of the smart farming process through the farmer cooperatives. And we also adopted the process of cost sharing, that is enabling the cooperatives to be able to adopt or to acquire hardware, especially drones, while we share the cost with them, and we can share revenue with the cooperative, so to speak. But more importantly, for the smallholder farmers, because they need to produce, to the standards of the market, which is quite important. That is how they will be able to generate enough revenue that would be able to improve their standards of living. And one of the key things with smallholder farmers in Nigeria is quite a number of them, a large proportion of the smallholder farmers are actually, they're actually poor because they do not have access to information that will enable them, meet the produced crops to the standards of the market. So one of the things that we're doing presently, and one of the key areas that smart farming will be able to assist smallholder farmers is the establishment of a continuous feedback mechanism and information base that would allow the farmers to understand the practices and also reduce their expenditure on inputs. Normally, smallholder farmers in Nigeria, they apply blanket application of inputs such as fertilizer because they do not have the wherewithal or the access to data for them to be able to interpret, and understand the variability on the farm. So what we do is to engage e-extension staff. These are usually trained youth, in the communities, to be able to, and agronomists as well within the cooperatives, to be able to understand and interpret the data on behalf of the farmers. In supporting the smart farming technology, we did implement a farmer toll-free farmer call center at some point, but because due to finances, we had to shut it down. But during that period, we received over 45 calls from different farmers across Ondo State in Nigeria, and we were able to link them up with e-extension staff, within their respective local governments. However, we feel strongly that the feedback mechanism is valuable for the farmers because the farmers do not have the capacity to either acquire the technology or interpret the outputs of the technology. Now, in doing that, this is where the agronomists, the extension staff, this is where they come in. And also, we use that to create job opportunities, ad hoc job opportunities for the youth, and they can take on new career path, within digital agriculture, as the case may be. I hope that answers your questions.
Great, thanks, Adewale. And here's another question, I think, for also everyone. In the era where information is power and money, can the Nigeria Flying Labs especially and all the other Flying Labs coordinators tell me more about how they intend to use the information that's being gathered?
Okay, if I could respond to that. Again, the first thing about using information is taking into cognizance or into account, the audience or the end users of the information. Who are they? What capacity do they have to be able to interpret and use this information sustainably? One of the key things that we see is, especially in the agricultural sector, one is to build a network, of e-extension staff to be able to share this information and to be able to sustainably engage in, technology transfer, and technology and knowledge transfer, basically. And with that, we hope that in the future, we now have a strong network of youth that are able to interpret this data on behalf or for the farmers, as we are currently seeing with our work with NACOTAN, the Cotton Farmers Association in Kogi State in Nigeria. We've built capacity of about 10 youth, and they've been collecting data using real-time technologies. You see what I mean? Now, we also have created an information center within the NACOTAN headquarters, Kogi State chapter, to be able to serve as a means of communicating the information derived from drone flights, especially multispectral drone flights, to the farmers. Because the cooperatives serve as a governing body for the farmers, and they have access to the farmers, it makes it a lot easier, to be able to build the capacity to transmit this information across board. And again, in doing this, we also in Flying Labs Nigeria, we strive to write blog posts, on what we're doing, so that this post can be shared across board, to be able to strengthen the knowledge that the public have, regarding, or to demystify the issue surrounding, application of information, especially in agriculture. Now that we know that smart farming is gradually gaining momentum, globally, and especially in Nigeria, the Smart Farming Advisory and Technical Center that we've set up, is aimed at achieving that process, democratizing the technology or the application, and also providing information, access to information, that will be able to serve for to be able to provide actionable insight, in agriculture. Bearing in mind that the audience do not have the wherewithal to acquire the technology and also to interpret the data. So we have to look at, explore areas whereby we are able to focus on the youth who are technology savvy and who have the potential to be able to replicate this, on behalf of the smallholder farmers. Now, this also gives an opportunity to be able to bring in the state government or the federal government. For example, the federal government in Nigeria has a program called Empower Agro, where youth are paid monthly to provide agronomy service advisory to farmers. But it's not technology driven. Now we are looking for opportunities, or exploring opportunities with the federal government to be able to align or integrate or embed this the process of building capacity of this youth, around drone technology, around good agronomic practices, around software development, artificial intelligence, data science, basically, to be able to use that better in advising the farmers that they work with.
Great. Thank you very much for your answer, Adewale. And unfortunately, I think that we are coming to the end of our webinar, and we have many follow-up questions and comments in our chat. So please feel free to reach out to Flying Labs directly with your questions, with your follow-up comments. And thank you very much for your active participation. And also thank you very much for our speakers. And for the questions that were for Papua New Guinea Flying Labs, unfortunately, Kevin and Sophia, they have some connection issues, so they couldn't join the webinar fully. But please feel free to reach out to them directly on their webpage or via email and on LinkedIn. So thank you again, everyone, for your time. And I wish you all a good day and a good rest of your week.
Thank you, Yanga. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you. Bye. Take care.